credit. So no big surprise there. But one of the things I want to talk about with respect to the Inflation Reduction Act was the massive infusion of money into the IRS. $80 billion, which is about 6 times their annual budget, and 87,000 new employees at the IRS. And many of us asked questions at the time about how those IRS employees are going to be deployed. What are these people all going to be doing out there? And of course the administration has not had good answers for any of that. But here we are, 10 days after the deadline, when the IRS was supposed to submit a detailed report about how all that money was going to be used, and we have yet to see any kind of a report to that effect. And so 10 days past the deadline, lack of transparency, $80 billion sort of out there with the IRS, and lots of questions about how it's actually being deployed. I would say that anything that's not used directly for taxpayer services, any dollars that don't go to taxpayer services, ought to be frozen in place until the IRS submits a plan that makes it very clear to the American people about how this $80 billion and how these 87,000 new employees are going to be used. I've got a piece of legislation along with Chuck Grassley. It's an accountability act that would require that to happen, and I hope that we can get as many people behind that legislation as possible and continue to try and build pressure on the IRS to fulfill its obligation to the American people, that when they pass this, that they would in fact tell us exactly how these dollars are going to be used. They've got an IRS commissioner that is a nominee he was in front of the Senate Finance Committee last week, that they'll probably try and put on the floor for a vote. I cannot in good conscience support that nominee as long as there is $80 billion in unaccounted for funding out there. And so that's a non-starter for me.
Get ready, friends. They are doing it right now. New inflation relief payments are expected to be direct deposited into thousands of Americans' bank accounts. Several state governors have revealed new plans for their state budget surpluses, including monthly checks. Friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video. Also, tomorrow, I will be announcing 2 winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter the weekly giveaways, friends, do click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, my friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. For another stimulus check to arrive in 2023, Congress would have to pass a law authorizing more stimulus funds. And according to experts, although many Americans are still struggling with inflation and SNAP emergency benefits that ended on March 1st, increasing spending power would likely not reduce inflation. Some say if people had more to spend on consumer goods, demand would continue to increase. With supply chains not entirely straightened out from the crisis, this may lead to shortages, which would drive up prices. According to Go Banking rates, when the crisis first began, Americans received $1,200 in April 2020. That money helped those who were furloughed, laid off, or unable to work, and had little to no money coming in. When this first round of checks arrived, most used it for necessities. Then another $600 in stimulus funds arrived between December 2020 and January 2021 as part of the American Rescue Plan Act. This time, about half of all recipients used the money to pay down debt. By March 2021, Americans received another $1,400 in stimulus payments. About 33% of recipients put this money into a savings account. So in addition to stimulus funds, taxpayers with children also received an enhanced child tax credit that was worth $3,600 for children under 5 and $3,000 per child up to the age of 17, with half of that money delivered up front. Several U.S. states have issued tax refunds that are essentially an extension of stimulus funds. A handful of states have also introduced legislation to provide taxpayers with additional funds as a form of inflation relief. Most of this money comes from budget surpluses in various states. If you reside in one of these states and have not received your money yet, you can contact your state tax department for the status of your money. The state of Virginia sent eligible taxpayers one-time bonus tax refunds, $250 to individuals, and then $500 for joint filers. While most checks were mailed out in September of last year, for those who filed at the later end of the application, it is possible that some checks may still be making their way out this year. South Carolina residents are also eligible for a tax rebate if they file a 2021 South Carolina income tax return and have a tax liability. The rebates will cap at $800 and are based on 2021 tax liability less credits. Due to Hurricane Ian, South Carolina has broken the rebates into two phases, depending upon when you filed your tax return. So for people who filed their tax return by October 17, 2022, you should already have received your rebate. But before February 15, 2023, you will receive your rebate by March 31, 2023. The state of Pennsylvania also has an ongoing program that is offering a refund on property taxes or rent paid for seniors since 1971. The maximum standard rebate is $650, but those eligible for supplemental rebates can receive up to $975. The income limit is $35,000 a year for homeowners and $15,000 a year for renters, though half of Social Security income is excluded. To receive the funds, an application is required, and it must be filed with the state's Department of Revenue by December 31, 2023. Senate Democrat Joe Manchin has repeated his support to keep Social Security and Medicare intact amid worries about its long-term solvency, but said there might be a better program to consider for future beneficiaries. The West Virginia Democrat indicated his opposition to Medicare and Social Security cuts, but on an interview on Fox News, he also didn't close the door on finding a different way to help future beneficiaries. GOP critics of Senator Manchin, who is up for re-election in 2024, seized on the statement as evidence he wants cuts. But the senator's office tried to quash that by saying Manchin continues to oppose cuts to present and future beneficiaries. Senator Joe Manchin made it very clear that he's not willing to cut benefits for the millions of Americans who currently depend on the entitlement programs. But he questioned whether there was a smarter, more affordable way to ensure retirement funds for younger Americans. Well, my beautiful and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Thursday. Thank you, my friends, for being part of this community and for joining me here every single day. My friends, I will be announcing 2 winners tomorrow for the Walmart gift card giveaway. Please make sure you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. Friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed Thursday.